This represents episode, we've done 100.
100.
100. Is that like sick? So it's sort of like a little bit of a look back on what we consider to be our sort of top 10. So we're going to do a countdown. We're going to go from 10, 9, 8. All right, that's the countdown. This is the countdown. And this is the first one we're going to hit. And this number 10. The title of this sucker is Design Doesn't Work in Branding. Huh?
People think that design and branding are the same thing. They're not.
No.
They're similar. There's some overlap, but they're really not the same thing. They're not replaceable words.
And here's that little snippet to give you a taste. Without a good brand story, you don't have a good canvas. And if you don't have a good canvas, there's nothing upon which to actually create your design or to create your art. Your brand story is where it all comes alive. Number 9 is the growth strategy that's costing you sales. I mean, literally, I touch upon a lot of things when I do the 1 Minute Wednesdays. I'll talk about branding, I'll talk about design, I'll talk about sales, I'll talk about customers, I'll talk about reputation, I'll talk about social media, all because these are bits and pieces that all contribute to a brand. And so this one is number 9, the growth strategy that's costing you sales. Check it out. They weren't talking about themselves, they were talking about us, the consumers. When companies don't know that, they make this mistake of saying, we've got to talk about more features, we've got to talk about more features. They try to out-feature each other to the point where they reach this feature threshold. The companies are like, we've given them everything we've got. Oh my gosh, we've got to lower the price. You're going to race to the top with features, you're going to race to the bottom with price. In brands, as well as in life, the most gracious and memorable people will be the ones that actually made you the most important.
Yeah.
So now we're going to move on to number 8. What quality does every leader today actually share? The interesting thing is something ridiculous and easy to overlook. They're actually interested. Number 7 covers a really cool statistic which very few people know. This was very exciting to share with the world. Got amazing feedback on it. Here's how we covered that in this episode. I'm going to read something to you because this is amazing. This is from the Cannes Lion International Festival of Creativity. 80% of brands believe they deliver great consumer experiences. Only 8% of consumers agree. This one really touches upon the factor of not doing things by the rules that have already been done.
I think this episode is a great reminder of thinking outside the box. You can't always use other people as a metric for how you measure your success, measure your growth, measure your business. Because if you do that, you're gonna lose. You're just running a rat race.
And that's what's covered in here. So here's how I said it then. Branding is a game of rule breaking. It is the game of disrupting. It's the game of actually tearing stuff apart. It's about literally deconstructing and reconstructing it in a more amazing way. This one is number 6, and this really covers how do you describe what you do.
If you just deliver the facts and say, oh, this is what we do, this is what we don't do, well, yeah, you're just delivering a report. But you know what the problem with a report is? Reports look backwards. You can't do that. You have to look forward.
I'm giving this guy a freaking David Brier mixologist diploma after this discussion. That was awesome. You know, if I can inspire and breathe life into a dream that someone else had, and it's like they've come to me to breathe life into it, that's what it's all about. And that's the thing, is that don't underestimate what you are capable of doing as a person, as a brand, as a movement in the world. There are too few who have taken ownership of what they truly are capable of achieving in the world. Okay, so number 5 covers the topic of disruption.
If you can't shake up your customer a little bit, they're not gonna have any reason to pay attention to you. If they, if you're driving down the street and you see a Honda Civic, there's nothing to write home about. But if you're driving down the street and you see some Ferrari or Maserati or something, you want to write home about that because it surprises you and it disrupts you. And that's what your brand should do.
But here's the snippet from that episode. What I mean by challenge is, okay, your brand needs to sort of be have an element of disruption. And now number 4 is very cool because I think everybody, with all of the rapid fire technology it's like always released, whether it's like the iPhone 11 Pro or whether it's hardware, software, or whatever, there's always this sort of like, what's the new thing? And they forget the core. of stuff. And so that's the one that's the thing about this that interested me the most. Here's a little snippet from that episode. What's going to happen with the big bad techies and all the new social channel and the new this and the new that and this generation and that generation? Blah, 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 blah. You can't control that. What you can control is your destiny. So number 3 covers the factor of the cumulative buildup that all the pieces of the brand contribute toward. They must contribute to one another. I mean, and that you captured beautifully in this one.
Right. I mean, they need to support each other. And if you're just making a logo and doing, your copywriting and your website, if all those things are existing separately, they're not going to support each other, and they need to support each other so they can elevate the brand as an experience and as an entirety, as a whole.
How is someone going to feel when they hold it? How is someone going to feel when they hear it? How is someone going to feel when they watch it? How is someone going to feel when they read the words? So this next one I love because it's something that I always have to cover with clients. Clients are usually intoxicated with everything about their brand, right? Everything is vitally important.
Best thing ever.
And if it was their baby, it's the most gorgeous baby. So this one really sifts it out, and this is brilliantly, Josh captured and really edited it well, where we really got the point of it's not all important. There are parts that are more important. There are parts that are less important, and that's what we cover here.
You're going to have all this information. You need to kind of pare it down and sift it down to what is really the most important thing. What's your one-line pitch?
So let's put it in a cinematic context. Not everything in the shot is important. There's something in the foreground that you're looking at. Maybe there's something coming toward that subject, and then there's background. There's stuff that's not important. This is not only the first one we did, but Josh and I, basically this was the audition.
Yeah.
And Josh and I, we were like, hey, I said, here's a possible approach. And we tried that. It sucked. It's terrible. And then Josh said, and then we started talking, and Josh was like, he was looking from his videographer eyes, and looking, and he goes, hold on. And then he basically adjusted the camera, and we did that version. And I said, edit both. Let's take a look and see what cuts it. Mine sucked. His was on the money, and actually, this was the first one. Yeah. This was it. Yeah. The way that you know the difference between whether you're dealing with a practitioner, a professional, or a genius, to me, it's relevant to the amount of questions asked and what percentage of the questions have to do about the future. Thank you for tuning in for the 1 Minute Wednesdays. Thank you, Josh. This has been awesome. We're looking forward to the next 100 episodes. Yes. And if you haven't subscribed yet, subscribe and make sure to tack on the little bell so that way you get notified when the new episodes are dropped. And here's to you, and thank you for your support so far.